The revolutionary act of rest, how Black women entrepreneurs are redefining success through radical self preservation. Good morning, everyone. I stand before you today transformed by a conversation that fundamentally altered my understanding of success, power, and sustainability. My recent interview with Tameka Smith, a visionary advocate whose work has created healing spaces for thousands of Black women entrepreneurs across the country, wasn't just enlightening, it was revolutionary. Tamika isn't just changing business models, she's changing lives. Her groundbreaking work in creating trauma informed entrepreneurship frameworks has helped Black women reclaim their power while building seven-figure businesses without sacrificing their souls in the process. When Forbes called her the quiet force reshaping American business, they weren't exaggerating. What I'm about to share with you today might sound counterintuitive in our hustle obsessed culture, might even feel uncomfortable, but that discomfort is precisely why it matters. Here it is. Rest is not a reward for productivity. Rest is not what happens after success. Rest is the foundation upon which sustainable success is built. And for Black women entrepreneurs specifically, rest isn't just a nice to have, it's a revolutionary act of self preservation in a world that has historically demanded their labor while dismissing their humanity. When Tameka shared this perspective during our interview, the words stopped me in my tracks. For Black women entrepreneurs, she said, her voice resolute, rest and healing are not luxuries, they are necessities and acts of radical self preservation. This statement challenges everything we've been taught about what it takes to succeed. Think about it. We live in a culture that glorifies the grind. We celebrate the entrepreneur who works 80-hour weeks, who answers emails at 2 a.m., who sacrifices sleep, relationships, and health at the altar of ambition. We've normalized exhaustion as a status symbol. We've turned burnout into a badge of honor. But what if this narrative isn't just harmful? What if it's fundamentally flawed? What if the path to sustainable success isn't about pushing harder, but about knowing when to pause? What if our capacity for rest directly influences our capacity for creativity, innovation, and leadership? This is the paradigm shift that Tameka Smith is championing and is transforming how Black women approach entrepreneurship. Now, I want to be clear, this isn't about abandoning ambition or lowering standards. It's about recognizing that our well being is not separate from our work, it's integral to it. It's about understanding that prioritizing rest isn't selfish, it's strategic. Let me share three powerful insights from my conversation with Tameka that illustrate why this matters so deeply. First, rest is revolutionary. In a world that has historically exploited Black women's labor and time, choosing to rest is an act of resistance. It's a declaration that your worth isn't tied to your productivity. It's an assertion that you deserve care, not just as a means to greater output, but as an inherent right. True empowerment includes giving yourself permission to rest without guilt because your well being fuels sustainable success. Second, healing drives success. Healing mentally, physically, spiritually isn't just about personal growth, it's foundational to building thriving businesses. When we address our wounds, we free up the energy that's been consumed by carrying them. We create space for creativity, connection, and vision. The parts of ourselves we heal become the most powerful assets in our entrepreneurial journey. Third, you are not alone. The journey through trauma or adversity can feel isolating, but there's a vibrant community of Black professionals who have overcome similar challenges. Their stories prove that resilience is possible, not through grinding yourself down, but through building yourself up with intention, community, and radical self care. These insights aren't just theoretical, they're backed by powerful, real world examples of Black women entrepreneurs who have embodied these principles and achieved remarkable success. Consider Kathy Hughes, founder of Urban One, now the largest African American broadcasting company in the world. Hughes faced enormous challenges as a single mother with limited resources in a male dominated media landscape. She experienced racial profiling and systemic barriers at every turn. But Hughes had a vision for Black storytelling. She saw the need for radio stations tailored specifically to underserved audiences. And she pursued that vision relentlessly, even living at a radio station when times were tough. What's rarely discussed in Hughes's story is the toll this took on her. There were nights she collapsed from exhaustion, moments she questioned everything, times when the weight seemed unbearable. Yet she persisted not by denying her humanity, but by honoring it, creating systems of support, moments of restoration, and practices that sustained her spirit through the darkest times. Today, Urban One is worth hundreds of millions of dollars. Hughes became the first African American woman to head a publicly traded company in radio. She's empowered countless Black voices in media and inspired generations through representation. But her most powerful legacy might be showing that success doesn't require self destruction. Or consider Lisa Price, founder of Carol's Daughter. Price started her natural beauty brand from her kitchen, focusing on ingredients tailored to women like herself. She faced funding barriers due to both racial discrimination and skepticism toward niche markets focused on natural hair care products for women of color. What made Price's journey remarkable wasn't just her business acumen, but her unwavering commitment to authenticity. She refused to compromise her vision, even when investors pushed her to broaden her appeal. She trusted her instincts and honored her community's needs above market pressures. Price grew her brand authentically, leveraging community events and grassroots marketing. She later secured high profile investors, including celebrities who believed in her mission. Eventually, Carol's Daughter was acquired by L'Oreal while maintaining its original values. Price's journey illustrates the power of authenticity in entrepreneurship. She didn't try to fit her business into existing models. She created something new that spoke directly to an underserved community. And in doing so, she validated market demand for culturally relevant products and helped shift industry attitudes toward diversity and inclusion. Then there's Jessica Matthews, founder of Uncharted Power, a renewable energy company addressing infrastructure gaps globally. Matthews created innovative technology like Socket, a soccer ball that generates electricity through play. As the daughter of Nigerian immigrants, Matthews faced both gendered and racial bias breaking into tech and energy sectors traditionally closed off from young minority founders. But she pitched relentlessly, using her lived experience growing up between Nigeria and the US as the inspiration for solutions combating energy poverty. What's profound about Matthew's approach was her refusal to separate her identity from her innovation. She didn't succeed despite being a Black woman. She succeeded because her perspective as a Black woman with transnational experience gave her insights others simply didn't have. She turned what others might view as limitations into her greatest strengths. Today, Uncharted Power is an award winning tech firm impacting lives worldwide. Matthews holds patents on several inventions aimed at democratizing access to power resources globally. She set new standards around diversity driven innovation, proving that cultural background can be leveraged as a unique entrepreneurial advantage rather than a barrier. These women's stories share a common thread. They didn't succeed despite their identities as Black women. They succeeded because they embraced those identities fully. They turned their unique perspectives and experiences into competitive advantages. They built businesses that reflected their values and addressed needs they understood intimately. But here's what often gets left out of these success stories: the toll that constant striving takes on our bodies, minds, and spirits. The sleepless nights, the missed family gatherings, the health challenges that emerge when we push ourselves beyond our limits year after year. This is where Tameka Smith's message becomes so vital. She reminds us that sustainable success requires sustainable practices, that we cannot pour from empty cups, that rest isn't just about recovery, it's about prevention. What these inspiring entrepreneurs show us is that this shift isn't just possible, it's necessary, that we can redefine success on our own terms, that we can build businesses that honor our whole selves, not just our capacity for work. So, what does this mean for you, regardless of your background or industry? It means questioning the narratives you've internalized about success and sacrifice. It means examining whether your current pace is sustainable for the long term. It means considering what might be possible if you approach your work from a place of wholeness rather than depletion. Because here's the truth: rest isn't the opposite of productivity, it's a prerequisite for it. Healing isn't separate from success, it's essential to it. And community isn't a distraction from your goals, it's what makes them meaningful. As Tameka shared during our interview, prioritizing rest is a form of reparative justice for ourselves and our communities. It's about reclaiming what has been systematically denied. It's about creating new models of success that don't require us to sacrifice our well being. This is especially powerful for Black women entrepreneurs who often face unique challenges at the intersection of racism and sexism. But it's a message that can transform how all of us approach our work and lives. I want to leave you with a challenge that feels almost radical in today's world. What would your life look like if you treated rest not as a reward, but as a requirement? What might you create if your creativity wasn't constantly competing with exhaustion? Who might you become if healing was prioritized alongside achievement? Today, I invite you to commit to one revolutionary act of rest, not tomorrow, not when you've finished your to do list, not when you've earned it, today. Because the most disruptive thing we can do in a culture obsessed with productivity is to declare that our humanity is not negotiable, that our worth isn't measured in output, that our greatest contribution to this world might not be what we produce, but who we become when we honor the fullness of our being. The revolution will not be televised, but it will be rested, it will be healed, it will be whole. Thank you.